In 2010, a horrifying case occurred in Yunnan. A man became obsessed with eating human brains and turned his evil intentions toward innocent children in his village. He would first smash a child's skull, open the top of their head, and then suck out the brain matter while it was still fresh. After finishing his gruesome act still unsatisfied, he would then target another child. What could have driven this man to commit such depraved and insane acts? On January 23, 2010, Zhong, a resident of Guoli village in Banqiao town, Baoshan City, Yunnan province, was on her way to work in the fields. As she passed by a small path, she noticed a man in his 30s kneeling in a vegetable patch in a strange posture, seemingly engrossed in something. Zhong cautiously moved closer. What she saw horrified her. The man was straddling a blood-covered child, holding what looked like a straw in his hand. Thinking her eyes might be deceiving her, she took another step forward. This time, she saw it clearly. The child's skull had been pried open, leaving a gaping hole. The deranged man had a straw in his mouth and was frantically sucking the fluids from the child's brain. At that moment, the man noticed Zhong. Instead of panicking, he looked up and grinned at her. Frozen in terror, Zhong barely registered his full appearance before sprinting back to the village in a frenzy. Once back, she immediately reported the incident to the village chief, who quickly organized a group of villagers to investigate the field. By the time they arrived, the man had already fled. All they found was a large blood-stained rock, scattered bone fragments, and a pool of blood. The village chief promptly called the police. Upon arrival, the police, aided by sniffer dogs, discovered the body of a young boy in a nearby ditch, about 50 to 100 meters from the scene. What they saw shocked even the seasoned officers. The boy's skull above the brow had been cleanly severed, and the brain inside was missing. Next to the body was a pool of a nauseating, unidentifiable substance, along with ants and earthworms feeding on a white, sticky residue. The boy's remains and the evidence was sent for forensic analysis. Meanwhile, the police launched an investigation in the village, starting with identifying the victim. While verifying the boy's identity, a villager mentioned that a child from the neighboring Qixien village had gone missing, and his family was searching for him. The police rushed to Qixien village and met the missing boy's mother. The mother told them her son, named Tang Tang, was a 4th grader. On January 23rd, hours after school dismissal, Tang Tang had not returned home. Concerned, she contacted his teachers only to learn he had never attended school that day. Other children in the village also confirmed they hadn't seen him. Tang Tang's family searched the entire village but found no trace of him. They even asked the village chief to make an announcement over the loudspeaker, hoping Tang Tang would hear it and come home, but there was no response. After confirming Tang Tang's clothing and approximate height, the police suspected the body in the field was his. To spare the mother further trauma, they only showed her a photo of the child. The moment she saw it, she collapsed, wailing in anguish. No one could believe that a lively child from the day before was now a cold, mutilated corpse. Tang Tang's aged grandmother was utterly devastated upon learning of her grandson's brutal death. The mother, though unwilling to accept the horrific truth, acknowledged it was indeed her child. She told the police their family had no enemies and could not fathom why anyone would harm an innocent child. So who was the killer? And why had he committed such a monstrous act? A failed attempt at brain eating. As the police conducted an extensive search, rumors spread among villagers. Some claimed the killer was harvesting organs for sale. However, forensic results soon revealed the white substance at the scene was part of a human brain, while the unidentified liquid was a mixture of saliva and stomach acid. This suggested the killer had vomited after consuming the brain, meaning organ trafficking was unlikely. But why would someone eat a child's brain? Before the police could solve this mystery, another tragedy struck. On January 24th, a village celebration was underway in Guoli village. During the festivities, a villager stepped into a nearby outhouse and found a blooded little girl lying motionless inside. At first, he thought she was asleep, but upon lifting her, he noticed strangulation marks on her neck. Despite shaking her vigorously, she showed no signs of life. The girl was identified as 3-year-old Lin Lin. Her grandfather, arriving at the scene, nearly collapsed in shock. Police determined Lin Lin had died from mechanical asphyxiation. A 7-centimeter-long incision ran across her forehead, matching the precision seen in Tang Tang's case. However, her brain remained intact, likely because the killer was interrupted by nearby activity during the festival. The police concluded the same perpetrator was responsible for both crimes. Panic spread, with parents keeping children indoors and schools emptying early. During their investigation, the police zeroed in on a suspect named Wang Xiaoxu, a man whose erratic behavior and inconsistent answers raised red flags. Witnesses placed him near the crime scene on the day of Tang Tang's murder, and Zhang confirmed his resemblance to the man she had seen. Under interrogation, Wang Xiaoxu initially denied any wrongdoing, but after days of questioning, he confessed. His motive? A twisted belief in a folk remedy. Born in 1981, Wang Xiaoxu suffered from polio as an infant and was abandoned by his father at age 2. His mother, disabled in a car accident, died when he was 10, leaving him in the care of his grandparents. At 20, he was pressured into marrying a woman 8 years his senior. Though they had a child, their marriage was fraught with arguments. Wang Xiaoxu's life took a darker turn when he developed epilepsy, experiencing seizures, loss of consciousness, and spasms. Despite seeking treatment across Yunnan, his condition worsened. Humiliated by a public seizure in a Kunming hospital, he became reclusive, delving into his family's ancestral medical texts for a cure. 2 months before the murders, he began drinking donkey milk, believing it could treat epilepsy. When that failed, he turned to a grisly folk remedy, consuming human brains, especially children's, mixed with ants and earthworms. On January 23, he lured Tang Tang to a field with the promise of catching sparrows, then bludgeoned him and attempted to eat his brain. Disgusted, he vomited but remained undeterred. The next day, he targeted 3-year-old Lin Lin, strangling her in an outhouse. When he failed to crack her skull, he fetched a sickle but fled upon hearing approaching footsteps. In court, Wang Xiaoxu claimed he was in a daze during the crimes, but medical evaluations proved he was fully conscious. On June 28, 2010, he was sentenced to death for intentional homicide. Ironically, Wang Xiaoxu came from a family of medical practitioners, yet fell for a barbaric superstition. This case serves as a grim reminder. Unverified folk remedies can be dangerous. Proper medical treatment is the only safe path to healing. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this case, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow Case Diaries. There are plenty more cases coming your way. Got thoughts on today's story? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. See you in the next one.